Hello and welcome to my Yugioh channel. Today we're looking at some new cards which are coming out of OCG Tournament Pack 2021 Volume 3, and they're meant to be reprints of cards just to be able to support Burst of Destiny, the new pack. Careborn is a light attribute fiend type level 1 with 300 attack and 200 defense. At the end of the battle phase you can discard this card, then target one monster in your graveyard that was destroyed by battle and sent there this turn, special summon it. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target any number of Careborn monsters in your graveyard and special summon them. So the purpose of this card is it's able to revive one of your destroyed by battle monsters, which can be useful if you need to do that within your turn. Maybe it's a very useful card, and that helps with that revival without having to run specific things like Monster Reborn or Call of the Haunted. This is also very useful for being able to just banish it and reviving all of your Careborn monsters. You've got the Careborn brothers within the latest set, and within Burst of Destiny that means you can revive all of them if you want and then go into your Careborn boss monster from that. Symphonic Warrior Guitar is a wind attribute machine type pendulum monster. It's a level 3 with a scale of 7 and 1500 attack and 1100 defense. The pendulum effect is you can discard one card, special summon one Symphonic Warrior monster from your deck except Symphonic Warrior Guitar. You can only use this effect of Symphonic Warrior Guitar once per turn. The monster effect is when this card is normal summoned, you can target one Symphonic Warrior monster in your graveyard and special summon it. This is a series of monsters that tend to be pendulum and I think synchro based as well. They're decent monsters, but I don't actually understand why this has been introduced. I don't think there have been any introductions of Burst of Destiny for Symphonic Warriors, unless there might still be a few cards that are yet to be released. This might be a major clue towards that. The effect itself, just to be able to search for a Symphonic Warrior monster is fine, or be able to revive one of them is also okay, but it's best for its pendulum scales because they can vary to let you summon multiple cards from your hand. Penguin Soldier is a water attribute archetype level 2 with 750 attack and 500 defense. The effect is flip, you can target up to 2 monsters on the field, return those targets to the hand. This is a very decent effect and is very useful within the Penguin archetype. Most of them specialise in either using their own effect to flip and use those effects, or actually help by some of their other monsters to banish cards from your opponent's hand. For example, I think that's the effect of No Penguin. If a card returns from the field to the hand, that's what it does. It's a very useful card and actually is needed for reprint. It's a very old one. Sacred Crane is a light attribute winged beast type level 4 with 1600 attack and 400 defense. Its effect is if this card is special summoned, draw one card. This again is another example of a very old card which could have had a reprint, but I don't understand why it has. It doesn't necessarily link to anything currently in Burst of Destiny, but we still to reveal all of the cards. The Sexual Weapon Eagle Claw is a wind attribute winged beast level 5 with 2000 attack and 1200 defense. And its effect is if your opponent's life points are at least 2000 or higher than yours, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can target one Utopia monster you control, equip this monster on the field to that target. It gains 2000 attack. Once per turn while this card is equipped to a monster, when a trap card or a trap effect that was activated on your opponent's side of the field resolves, negate the effects of that card. You can only control one ZW Eagle Claw. This is very useful for the Utopia monsters because this just instantly special summons itself. It doesn't require you to tribute summon to bring it out, which is always better than wasting your normal summon or wasting a resource from another monster. This instantly gives your Utopia another 2000 attack points, making it a 4500 attack monster, and it also has the ability to shut down one of your opponent's trap cards or its effect for the duration of that turn, each and every turn. Cypher Twin Raptor is a light attribute machine type level 4 with 1600 attack and 800 defense. Its effect is if your opponent controls a face-up monster that was special summoned from the etch deck and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can discard one card, special summon one Cypher monster from your hand or deck. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except Cypher monsters. You can only use this effect of Cypher Twin Raptor once per turn. So we've seen some recent Cypher support and actually they have the ability to double up the levels. So this can become a level 8 monster, and alongside with another Cypher monster helps to go into your Xyz monster, that's rank 8. I think it's called Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon. This is able to kind of special summon itself, but it is conditional on your opponent having an extra monster face up on their field, and it does require a discard to use this effect as well. Destiny Hero Celestial is a level 4 Dark Attribute Warrior type monster with 1600 attack and 1400 defense. And its effect is when this card declares an attack, you can target one face-up spell card your opponent controls, destroy it, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. While you have no cards in your hand, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card and one Destiny Hero monster from your graveyard. Draw 2 cards. You can only use this effect of Destiny Hero Celestial once per turn. I would argue this is one of the more powerful Destiny Heroes you currently have within the game, just in terms of it being a level 4 monster. It does have the ability to destroy any face-up spell cards, which means every time it attacks it can do this and inflict 500 points of burn damage, which can be effective against certain opponents and certain deck strategies. It's also useful if it happens to go to the graveyard. If you have no cards in your hand, by banishing this and another Destiny Hero, just being able to use a Pot of Greed effect means that, you're able to consistently draw into what you need. I've seen the recent release of the Destiny Hero cards, which I'm also going to be covering soon, and they look actually very impressive from my viewpoint. Rare Fish is a water attribute fish type fusion monster. It's level 4 with 1500 attack and 1200 defense. It requires as its materials Fusionist and Enchanting Mermaid. This has no effects and it's one of the oldest fusion monsters within the game. I think it came out around somewhere like Metal Raiders, and the only real use is as a instant fusion target, or I think there's an alternative version now which can also apply to this card. Puralis, the purple pyrotile, is a fire attribute reptile synchro tuner, which is a level 2 and 800 attack and 1400 defense. It requires a tuner and one non-tuner monster. And the effect, when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, all monsters your opponent currently controls lose 500 attack. This being a synchro tuner is just usable within most types of decks that require a synchro tuner. For example, you do have the shooting Stardust Dragon, and you have many other examples. For example, with the Tech Genus archetype as well, they rely on this type of card. It is one of the weaker ones, especially since its effect is only a reduction of 500 attack points. I much prefer to run things like Formula Synchron, which upon its summon let you just instantly draw a new card. Cloud Castle is a wind attribute machine type synchro monster. It's a level 9 with 0 attack and 3000 defense. It requires a tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters to summon it. And its effect is when this card is synchro summoned, you can target one level 9 monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. Level 8 or lower monsters cannot attack the turn that they are normal or special summoned. I don't understand how this relates to anything within Burst of Destiny. I'm sure there are probably going to be examples that we've yet to see released. Maybe some high level monsters that are level 9 or above, considering that was the secondary effect. It shuts your opponents and your monsters that are weaker than that and lower leveled from attacking on the turn they're normal or special summoned. Sky Cavalry Centauria is a light attribute beast warrior type Xyz monster. It's a rank 2 with 2000 attack and 0 defense. It requires 2 level 2 monsters to summon it, and its effect is this card cannot be destroyed by battle while it has Xyz material. At the end of the damage step, if this card battled an opponent's monster, you can detach one Xyz material from this card, return the opponent's monster from the field to the hand. This is a decent enough effect because if it doesn't manage to defeat an opponent's monster, it just lets you replace it to the hand. If they're running a very defensive deck, this can be very annoying for them to have to constantly re-summon their monsters. I don't understand where this is in terms of Burst of Destiny support, because I don't think we've currently covered any Beast Warrior type monsters. I'm sure we'll see some more releases. Transmodify is a normal spell card with the effect send one face-up monster you control to the graveyard, special summon from your deck one monster with the same type and attribute as that monster in the graveyard, but one level higher. You can only activate one Transmodify per turn. I'm sure there are examples of cards that actually work and tie well together that are of different levels within the same archetype. That's the main reason for running this. I use this actually at the moment within Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links to get out Satellite Cannon, for example, to go into Volcasaurus as an example. And I run that alongside things like Shining Angel, because when that's destroyed in battle, you're able to get out another Satellite Cannon, and therefore you will have the 2 level 5 monsters in order to bring out number 61 Volcasaurus. The Monarchs Stormforth is a quick play spell card with the effect: once during this turn, if you tribute a monster for a tribute summon, you can tribute 1 monster your opponent controls, even though you do not control it. You can only activate 1 of the Monarch Stormforth per turn. During the turn you activate this card, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. I think there is actually a card in Burst of Destiny which has the same type of effect. I think it's a trap card. Vessel for the Dragon Cycle is a normal spell card with the effect: send 1 worm type monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then if you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can add from your deck to your hand 1 10-year monster with a different name from the monster sent to the graveyard. You can only activate 1 vessel for the Dragon Cycle per turn. I think as of Burst of Destiny we've yet to receive any more 10-year cards, which gives us a massive clue as to getting new 10-year support. Those were a series of worm type monsters. I think they were the first ones to be introduced, 1 of each of the different attributes, so you had 1 for light, dark, earth, water, fire, wind, and they also had Xyz. They also had synchro monsters to pair alongside those cards, as at least 1 of them was a tuner monster. Ghost of a Grudge is the final card that's been supported. It's a normal trap card with the effect: if your opponent has 8 or more cards in the graveyard, the attack of all monsters your opponent currently controls becomes 0. Again, at the moment there isn't any distinction within Burst of Destiny where this actually links to that card. I saw very interestingly, and this is very surprising, that there was some support for Magical Cylinder, the trap card, where you could actually search for it, set it to the field and activate it during your turn. And so I'm assuming something similar to that might come out of this type of effect. How it's going to come out we are not completely sure of. Maybe it's a more powerful version, maybe it requires fewer limits, or maybe it has a bonus effect where it negates all of your opponent's monster effects for the turn. We're waiting to see this. There is one other key thing: there's a new mask token that's going to be introduced, and if you were a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, this was at the point where Sherry LeBlanc was supporting Zone and his efforts within this kind of field spell that she was using. If you want to go and look up, I'll probably put the image up here as well, just to show you what it actually looks like. Of the various cards that have been supported, I do like Ghost of a Grudge. I think that's one of my favourite ones, even though it is quite limiting at the moment. And I do think the Penguin support was needed with Penguin Soldier, because it's a very outdated and old card. What do you guys think of the various support that's listed in these reprints? Anything key to you collecting them, or do you think they're all meh and you don't really want them? Whatever you think, leave those comments down below, like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily Yu-Gi-Oh! Content.